From every strand on the line of your reel, to the rods, to the anglers, to the lures on the end of your hook, let's talk about those big bass here on Co-Angler's Corner with your hosts, Rob Welch and John Stoudinger.
Hey, y'all are. Hey, Cajun Rob here hanging with you. I got one and only, your Lake Caddo LBAA Co-Angler Champion, Miss Deanna Lovern. Hey, Deanna, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. That was huge. I mean, I think that's the biggest field the LBA's had, I think, wasn't it?
It was one of the biggest ones I've been involved with, and I've been with them 12 years now.
Yeah, I went to the weigh-in at Guntersville. I think that was the previous biggest field, and it was huge, and Caddo was even bigger. So that's a great sign. I mean, it's growing leaps and bounds. So Steve and all of them do a great job out there.
Yes, they do.
Definitely. Well, for the few folks that don't know you, kind of go through how'd you get into fishing, and then how'd you get into tournaments? How'd you get in this crazy world of tournament fishing?
It was all a big fluke, really. No pun intended. So I would go fishing with my husband, mostly sit on the back of the boat, read a book, get some sun, take a nap. Every once in a while, I'd try my hand at fishing and just, whatever. I was just enjoying being out. And I was on my way to work one morning, and I was listening on a Saturday morning, and I was listening to a talk radio show that we usually listen to that has a fishing morning report, Outdoors with Doug Markham, I believe what it was.
Yeah, yep.
And there was a lady on there talking about the LBAA, and I listened all the way to work, and I'm going, this is amazing. They've got a trail for women. And so I got home and I was telling my husband about it. And he goes, well, that is pretty neat. He hadn't heard of it before.
Yeah.
And we went to the Bassmasters Classic in 2014, and they had a booth there. And I got to meet some people and bought a T-shirt and met Martha Goodfella in the Leeds Bass Pro Shop there. And we stood there and talked for an hour. And she gave me her card. And I had all kinds of questions from, what do we do? How do, what if I need to go to the bathroom? What, anything I could think of. I emailed, I called, and they were going to be going to the next tournament was going to be on Old Hickory, which I'm in Middle Tennessee. So Old Hickory is about, a little over an hour away from the house. And I told my husband, I want to do this. And he goes, you still don't take your fish off the hook. You can't change your bait out. I'm not in the boat with you. I said, so teach me.
Yep.
I'm trainable.
Yep. I can listen. I'll listen.
I can listen, and I got my own rod and reel because I'd been using his. I got my own bait caster, jacked it up plenty of times and learned how to get the bird's nests out of it and stuff. I mean, in that first tournament, I never caught a keeper fish. I was scared to death. But I met some great people. It's where I met Angela Mayo for the first time. We were both fishing our first LBAA tournament.
Yep.
I was sitting there all by myself, and she walked up. She goes, are you with all this? And I went, yeah. But, I didn't know anybody.
Yep.
And so she sat down, and we got to talking. And then she ended up winning the tournament for co-angler side. And
wow.
We were rooming next to them at Kentucky Lake at the next tournament because I told my husband, I got to keep doing this. This is great. I'm going to do this. And he's still laughing at me, because I basically could do two things. I could Texas rig, and I could throw a shaky head, and that was it. And, and I just built on that. And then, Angela and I started doing it the next year. We were just running buddies, going to the tournaments. We left the husbands at home. And, every year I started practicing something different. Building my skills. I went from Texas rigging to a jig to, spinner baits to, there's still stuff that, we don't do a lot, that I don't practice a lot. And there's times I probably really need to, get better at it, but I go with what I know. And how it went from 2014, and I took a couple tournaments off and, and stuff because life gets in the way and work and everything. And but I've been trying to do at least one a year just because I love coming together with my girls. The women from all over the United States. Never would have dreamed of being able to go and fish these places and have such a camaraderie with these women, and just knowing that, if they needed something or what have you, we'd all be there for each other. And um, it's just been a growing experience. And
Oh yeah.
for 12 years, I've been doing this. I just
Oh wow.
cannot believe that I've been doing this for this long. And so, like I said, I went, the only one I did last year was Gunnersville. And
Yep.
because it's not far from the house, and I love some
Right.
Gunnersville. We fish the ABA couples there when we get a chance. And then this year went back to Caddo, because Angela and Denise, they're my running buddies. When we do get to all three be at the same tournament, we all try to stay together. And we had did the iconic battery tournament series on
Yeah.
Hartwell back in October, and they were like, "You've
Right.
got to come to one next year. You have to come to one." I said, "Well, if I'm coming to one, I'm coming to Caddo."
Yep.
And so next day I signed up. I said, "All right, I got to go as co-angler because I don't have vacation time to be taken off
Yep.
for be a boater." So I told him, I said, "Y'all better be coming because I'm signed up." And so got the little Airbnb, and we went to Caddo last
Oh yeah.
couple of weeks ago now.
Yeah, yep. And I'm like you. Best times I've ever had. I fished Toyota Series a couple of years, and had two or three buddies that we'd always split Airbnb, and
Hmm.
it's just a whole different atmosphere. I mean, and hotels, you got people running down the halls, you worry about your stuff getting broken into, and Airbnb is just totally different
Yep.
vibe.
It just feels like home.
Yeah, it
You
does.
just,
Yeah.
the first time we had one though, it was really weird because the people had lived there, and they just packed up and went on vacation for the week. So all their
Oh,
stuff's there, and it's like,
yeah.
are we in the right place? Are we going to get arrested? Did we just break into somebody's house? Because yeah, they just packed up and left their house for a week for us. But yeah,
Oh, that's
it's
weird.
neat.
Yeah, I did a house in Knoxville one time. Me and my buddy, we was going to the BFL regional down on Loudon Tellico, and the couple that rented, it was like the whole upstairs was their son's room. I guess they had twins. They're
Hmm.
both in college, and it's cool because each bedroom had the bathroom between it.
Hmm.
But yeah, they cooked, and we had a good time, and they was just super nice, super hospitable. So
Yeah.
good times though.
Yeah. It is good.
Yep. But yeah, I was down at Guntersville. I know you had a bunch of company, a bunch of tournaments and boats going on. So
Hmm.
y'all did a good job. I mean, everybody handled it well.
Yep. Yep. I
'Cause
enjoy some Gunnersville too. Yeah.
oh
It's a
yeah,
good lake.
it is. I mean, it's always packed with boaters and fishermen. But y'all, I mean, I don't think anybody got spun out. Everybody's just like, okay, I'll fish around people. It don't matter. So it was a
Hmm.
great tournament for sure.
Yep.
But real quick, for people who don't know, you're starting your own kind of tournament circuit in Tennessee. So if you want to talk about that a little bit, and how can people keep up with kind of your goings on and events coming up? How can they keep up with you?
So this had been brought up between me and the girls at Denise and Angela at Caddo, and it was
Yep.
just casual conversation, because Denise runs the East Texas
Yeah.
Lady Anglers, and they're like, "Oh, all you gotta do, you basically use the same thing, East Tennessee Lady Anglers," and I got to thinking about it when I got home. I really nothing much else was said about it, and I just
Mhm.
put a question on Facebook. A
Yep.
question.
Yeah, I remember.
Who would be interested if we had a ladies anglers club
Yep.
and trail in Tennessee? And I had so much response. I mean, when are you doing it? I'm in. What do you need? What do you need? And I'm like, and then all of a sudden there was a few shares, and then there was a share.
Yep.
Hey, Deanna Lovern's getting ready to start doing this, ladies. Anybody in middle and East Tennessee, this is getting ready to happen. And I was like, okay, I guess this is happening. I was just
Oh yeah.
asking a question who would be interested. And apparently a lot of people are interested. A lot of the ladies are interested. So it's been a little, trying to get things going. And,
Hmm.
there's things that have to be done before you can just say, oh yeah, we're having one here. So I mean,
Yep.
there's permits, there's insurance, there's, uh your business license, there's there's a few things that have to be done before you can just pick a date. And I'm actually waiting on a response back for a date in October to try to have not only just a meet and greet with the women, but to have an open for anybody for just this first tournament to try to raise some funds for the Tennessee Lady Anglers. So 50% of the entry fees would be going to a first, second, and third place. The other 50% would be going to the Tennessee Lady Anglers to try to, get some equipment we're needing, pay for some permits, help with the website. We have someone that has gotten us a banner that they're just waiting on for future sponsors, to come in to add to that banner that they're giving to us. And I really much appreciate it. Janelle Smith's been a real rock in my corner. I mean, she's been calling, texting, emailing, hey, what about this? What about this? And several other ladies that's been contacting me. What do you need? And so it's happening. It's just not all, planned out yet. My goal is to have at least 3, if not 4, regular tournaments with one championship. But this is also a federation with the Lady Bass Anglers.
Oh, nice.
So our champion, our AOI, because it's a pro-co format. So just like the LBAA, whoever is Angler of the Year on the pro side and the co-angler side has the option to go to the classic for the LBAA.
Nice.
I mean, there's a few little things in there that we have to work out, but as far as funding and stuff, but that's a benefit with going through the LBAA as one of their federations. And Travis has helped a lot. I've had several conversations with him. I've talked to Cheryl several times, because she was her and Secret were the founders of the LBAA.
Oh, yeah.
So, I got a lot of people I can go to ask. I've had people contact me, and I even contacted you going, hey, is this legit? Because I don't know this person.
Yep.
And so, it ended up being legit. So I was really happy that you you responded back to me and said, yes, you know this person. So on that note, Paul Ronaldo had with Ball Sacks and White Peacock. I don't know if you can see this. There you go. They have agreed to sponsor our big bass for 2026.
Outstanding.
So that's one check mark off. Now, now Denise with Real Girls Fish, she's going to be helping us out a lot too. And I will be at the Bassmasters Classic with her on a day or two. I don't know exactly what day. She's agreed to let me come and sit with her in her booth and pass out information about the Tennessee Lady Anglers. And gonna try to do a 50-50 drawing there where, you buy a ticket and half the pot goes to the Tennessee Ladies, the other half pot goes to whoever the lucky winner is holding the ticket. We're really needing to raise some funds just because there's cost for website, there's cost for permit, and then Trisha McGraw with Fish Her has agreed to help with us, and I have to get with her on some things on that just to see. But I love my Fish Her. She did this one for
nice.
me.
Yep.
We have an autistic granddaughter, and so I wanted one of the autistic shirts, and she made that up for me. And then one of Denise's with the Lake Life Real Girls Fish. Love it. Love my shirts. Love my girls. And I just, I've got my daughter-in-law, Brandy Martin. I was having trouble with our logo and trying to see about stuff. it probably didn't take her 15 minutes, and she snapped it right back and had it ready. I went,
Wow, that's a nice
thank
logo
you.
too. She did a good job
Thank
on
you,
that.
Brandy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Of course, my husband, because like I said, he goes, so I guess you're starting a tournament. I said, I guess we are. He's like,
Yep.
okay. But it just seems like there's a want, not just a need, but there's definitely a want out there from ladies that, you know, who were just like me all those years ago, or like me now, that have been
Yep.
involved but want something a little bit closer to home,
Yep.
or want to see what doing like a smaller trail is like,
Yep.
and getting their feet under them. And then, like I said, the end goal is to try to get the LBAA to grow bigger.
Yep.
And if they can start with us, and I'm still going to fish some of the LBAA.
Oh yeah.
They're going to hit some of those lakes. I love some Logan Martin. I just, if they ever go back to Gunnersville, I'm in. If they are anywhere closer to Tennessee, which I know they are next year, but I can't tell you.
Oh
And
yeah.
I just, that I really enjoy fishing with all of them. And now to bring in another group that, some of them are kayak fishermen, some of them,
Yep.
are wanting to learn and maybe take that step from being in the back of the boat to the front of the boat, which, it
Yep.
took me a long time to get the guts up to do it. And
Oh yeah.
like I said, the only reason I didn't go this last time was because I just didn't have the vacation time.
Yep.
And I mean, if I could retire tomorrow, I'd be a boater everywhere. But somebody's got to pay for this fishing stuff.
That's right. That's right.
The Hubs likes to do it just as much as I do. So, you got two of us that's going to Bass Pro, and we spend twice the money.
Hey, got to spend it sometime. So hey,
I know you can't take it with you,
that's
but
right.
so it's an exciting event, and I can't wait till we can have more set details
Yeah.
on what the trail is. And like I said, I'm trying to work out some different things, and I've got some people that are helping me. And as soon as I have something locked in, I will definitely be going and giving an update and going, hey, spread the word.
Oh,
Because like I
absolutely.
said, the first one will just be, hold on. Excuse me.
Hmm?
The first one will be just to try to help raise funds.
Yeah, and awareness. I mean, I think that's a dual purpose: raise funds and kind of raises awareness at the same time. So I think that's great.
Because I think some of the people, that I have contacted, trying to bring in more sponsors and stuff, are going, okay, well, you hadn't even had your first tournament yet.
Yep.
They want to see what I can pull in.
Yeah.
And, if, I can start bringing in more women, like I said, in one of my posts, we are 38% of who's on the water.
Oh yeah.
Women.
Yep.
We are 38% who's in that big box store buying rods, reels, jigs, baits. Just because you see a female walking around the aisle in the fishing department, that means she doesn't always know what she's wanting or what she's doing. Excuse
Right. Yep.
me. Because when I'm in there, I know exactly where I'm going.
Oh yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
know what size bait I want. I know what size hook I want. And, we're a growing population. The women in fishing, especially the women with the kayaks coming up.
Yeah.
Your
Oh yeah.
Christine Fishers, your high schoolers.
Yeah.
Like Grace last night,
Yeah. And she was just sharp, professional. I mean, for her being a senior, I mean, she was really impressive. So, but a few comments I'm gonna run through here real quick. Our buddy John Adams of Star Lures says, "Good evening. Hey John, how's it going?" And Jen Nolan, she says,
Hey,
"Howdy.
Jen. Howdy.
How's it going, Miss Jen?" And she said, "Nice." And she says, "I'm gonna fish any Tennessee stuff I can. So excited." So there you go. Got your first commitment right there.
That's
or one
right.
of them. And then she said also, Jen says, let me know how I can help. Jen's got plenty of experience in tournaments, so that's definitely a good thing. And then Tricia Payne McGraw, we know her. Hi, Diana and Rob.
Hey,
Hey, Tricia, hope
Fisher.
you're doing. Hope you're doing well. And she must hit the thing twice. She said howdy again. But yeah, then you got Denise with the East Texas. So I mean, you've got somebody to kind of lean on and bounce stuff
Mhm.
on, ask questions. So that's great.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've got a lot of people I can go, hey, what would I do in this situation, or
Yep.
what would you suggest,
Oh,
so
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. And like I said, feel free to reach out to me. Like I said, I got a few connections. I know a few shops and whatnot. So feel free to reach out to me anytime. So
I appreciate
absolutely.
it.
No problem. And see, got a few more comments going to come in. Sherry Lee Hallman Spivey says, hi, Jen. Hey, Jen Nolan.
Oh,
Hey,
well, I
Sherry.
didn't know.
And then Jen Nolan says, I was born and raised in Tennessee, so I'm excited. Yep, that's right. I forgot you was.
Mhm.
Tennessee gal. And then Tricia says, Angie and I will be joining the Tennessee ladies as well. Awesome.
It's great.
Yeah, awesome. I might do a appearance down there your first tournament, hopefully, if I get my schedule right. So
We'd
definitely,
appreciate
definitely.
that.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. But and of course, Co-Anglers Corner and my page, we'll share anything you put out, any schedules or any events. So we'll definitely share it around, get the word out.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I've seen it, and I'm like, oh, please, everybody share. You know,
Hey, word of mouth, you can't beat it right there.
because yeah,
But
I mean, like I said, I had some people contact me, and I'm just like, how'd you find out about this?
yep.
And so I was just very, very excited about all the overwhelming response I've gotten over this.
Yep. Uh-oh. Trisha's brought up. Trisha says, I got a swimsuit for you, Rob. Throw on a wig and you'll be set. Hey, if it helps the cause out and helps raise money, I'll probably do it. So just say I'm working on my summer figure now. So anyway, but hey, Deanna, getting back to Caddo now. Let's
Okay.
go through your. I'm curious how you went from day one. You had kind of two different styles, and you still pulled out the win. So day one, kind of what you did on day one. How'd it go?
So day one, I was with Lisa Johnson, and Lisa Johnson and I have fished several tournaments together. I mean, it's crazy how many times I've been, we've been picked together to fish, and just on random draws. And this was, we went and both pulled a card. We both had boat 20, whatever, twenty
Yep.
30, 25, whatever it was. And it was like, I'm with Lisa again. So it's just like, Lisa's the kind that, you just look at her and go, we're just going fishing. She goes, we're going fishing. So
Yep.
I fished with her enough, and I had fished with her at Caddo back in 2019.
Oh.
So, but Caddo is Lake Picatree. So you're going to be pitching to trees.
Oh yeah.
And so that morning, we pulled up to her first stop, and she's wearing them out. And I'm like, oh no, oh no, oh no. Because I'd only gotten to pre-fish
Right.
the day before, because I didn't get to come down early. And I didn't catch anything when I went to pre-fish. So I just went to what I know, and that's what I did back in 2019, which was a shaky head with a either a Cinco or just some type of stick bait.
Yeah.
And 6 years ago or 5 years ago, whenever it was now, it was two colors, and I still had those two colors. I had an Ozark Shadow.
Yep.
And I had a June bug, and it probably wasn't. Of course, we blasted off by the time we got to our first, because it was open trailer, where we could trailer to our event, and we got to start fishing at 6:45 on the dot, and it wasn't even 7:30, and I felt that little tick, and I caught that 623. First thing, first fish in the boat for me. Lisa had already had a few, and I was like, oh my gosh. And Lisa goes, oh, it's a good fish. It's about 4.5. And I'm going, I really hope she's joking, or she just didn't see it the way I saw it, because I'm going, that fish looks pretty big.
Yeah.
And so So, and I caught that on the Ozark Shadow.
Nice.
And it was still not, I mean, it was daylight, but it wasn't, bright light. Yeah.
Right.
And I just wasn't getting any more little ticks on it. So I went to the June bug and lost a decent one, not the six, not another 6-pounder, but a good 3.5, 4.
Right.
Because it flipped on its side and you saw it go right by the boat.
Oh man.
Spit it. And ended up getting my other 2 that morning and had a couple small ones here and there. And of course, Lisa's wearing them out. She's a stick. I mean, a stick on any bottle of water. And so yeah, we went in and I had 12 pounds and something on day 1. And I was like, okay, I'm in first place, which puts that bullseye on your back. And, because I've been sitting in first place before and just going, okay, I got to pull this out. I got to do this.
In that hot seat. You're in that hot seat.
I'm in the hot seat. And so day 2, I was with Janet, and I can't think of Janet's last name. And I apologize, Janet. I can't remember it right now. And so she was a new boater. She was very new to boating. And, but not new to Caddo, but she was new to driving the boat. Yeah. And so, we're maneuvering around and we're trying to catch fish and the wind picks up and it's just, a few things here going wrong, a few things here. And all of a sudden it's 1 o'clock and I still don't have fish in the boat.
Oh. I hate that when that happens.
You talking about somebody that was sweating, going, okay. And I kept telling, she kept apologizing to me. I said, no, PMA. We have that positive mental attitude. We got this. We can fill a boat in, minutes.
Oh yeah.
I don't mean nuts.
You're.
And all of a sudden, she catches one. And it's the one that she got to hold up on stage. It was, I think, right at 3 pounds. She was so excited. She was in tears going, I got one. And I'm like, you got it. You got it. All right, we got time to do this. But I had to change up what I was doing.
Yeah.
So day 1, I was using my shaky head. Day 2, that was just dropping too much where we were.
Yeah.
So I needed to go lighter. So I went with an 1/8 ounce Woo tungsten weight Texas rigging with my same June bug, same color. It just needed to fall just a little bit different, or just I put it up a little bit on some grass, or and it was just, or I guess it was the lily pads there starting to come up, and just letting it kind of drop, and once it just barely kind of fell, they'd snatch it, and I had 2 paper fish. Then I had I had 2 on paper, and then I upgraded my paper fish, and then we were heading back to where we had put in that morning on the Texas side. Right. And the wind was picking up, so we were just kind of fishing around where the ramp was, and I textbooked up against a tree and caught that 3rd fish with less than 15 minutes left to go, and that's the one I weighed on stage. But almost 1 o'clock and I don't have one, and I'm going, okay, but head down, chin up, keep fishing. That's you just gotta grind it out, and it worked.
And you was positive. I like how you said positive mental attitude. You say positive, even though it's 1 o'clock. You're like, I can still do this.
I said, and I told her, I said, we can still do this. We can fill a boat. I know we can. We can do this. And so she was so excited that I was able to get my 3 fish. Even 2 was on paper, but have my fish to get in there. So.
Wow, that's not, and when you have somebody like you work together good with, I mean, that makes a huge difference as well. So you had kind of positivity going for you, and then you had a partner that supports you any way she could. So that worked out good. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, oh, please don't let me blow this, because I wanted that, because, we were talking earlier, I'd never had I've had 2 wins at our classics, at our championships, but I've never had a win in the middle of a season.
Yeah.
And I was just so excited. And then somebody goes, "You get to go to Kentucky Lake." I went, "Oh, I get to go to Kentucky Lake." So, now I get to go to the championship, the classic in
Yeah.
September.
That's a
And
pretty
so,
area. That's a
yeah.
pretty area.
Oh yeah, I like some Kentucky Lake too. I haven't got to go back in a while, but yeah, I like Kentucky Lake. Of course, it's close, so that helps.
Oh, yeah.
And but Angela, she's already got the house ready. She's like,
Oh,
because
nice.
Angela's already won one, and she told Denise, she goes, "You better qualify." She goes, "Because all three of us are going to be back together." So
No pressure. No
no
pressure.
pressure, no pressure. But I'm pretty certain she'll make it.
Oh yeah, ain't no doubt, ain't no doubt. But that's great though. I mean, but that's key for a lot of you co-anglers. Staying positive. I know a lot of people. If it's 12 or 1 on a fish, they get kind of spun out, and it's easy. It's easy to do. I've done
It
it,
is easy to
but
do. I've done it before, but I was
yeah.
just like, "No, I got this. I've got this."
And 15 minutes left. You got that last one. I've had it where the boater was cranking up, and I was getting my fish off the hook and putting it in live well, and he was cranking up, starting to leave. So it
Yeah,
happens.
yeah.
It can happen
Oh
that
yeah.
way. So that's great.
But yeah, it was
But
the
what
same. But like I said, it was the same bait both days. I just had to
different
use a
presentation?
different
Mhm.
presentation on it.
Yeah, and just that little bit of slow at fall rate, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
makes either slow or even faster. It makes a difference. I mean,
Yep.
sometimes you got to kind of experiment around, but
Yep.
when you get it locked in and you got exactly what they want, they'll let you know pretty quick.
Yep.
But I like it because hey, I mean, like stick bait. I mean, you can do so many things. That's what I tell young people. Get a bait like that. You can use different ways, like a wacky rig or Texas rig, Carolina rig. I mean, because
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of limited, on the bag you can carry. So
Yep.
I can't beat that. That's great. Now, what I know you've been in a lot of tournaments as a co-angler. I always ask this question because I've had some weird stuff. What is kind of the weirdest, strangest thing happen? Like if you had a boater fall out of the boat, or something weird
Luckily,
happen. Yep.
luckily, no, I haven't been with
Really?
one that somebody's fallen out of the boat or I've fallen out of the boat. I just about fell out at Gunnersville though.
Ooh.
I was with Brittany King, or she was with me, and I was seeing something floating in the water,
Yep.
and my husband just shakes his head because I love to bank shop. I find stuff floating in the
Yep.
water. I see stuff up on the bank. I'm like, "Hey, that's good. Let's go get that." Well, I saw something floating, and I was like, "Oh, it was an American flag that had blown off of either somebody's house or something. They still
Yep.
had the pole, but I couldn't tell what it was." And I went to go up to get it. When I went to bend down to get it, I lost my balance and I slammed my knee right into a reel and just
Oh.
about went over rescuing
Mm.
this flag. And
Ooh.
yeah, I kept a knot on that knee for quite a while. And she goes, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I said, "Just keep fishing. I'm just gonna lay here and die for a minute." But yeah, we got back up and went back to fishing. But yeah, I just about went over that time. But no, I've been
Yep.
pretty lucky. And I did tell Lisa Johnson one time fishing Kentucky Lake several years ago that when I was netting all her fish, that she had a net this big and she was
Yep.
catching fish this big. I said, "You need a bigger net." Well, she finally got her a bigger net. But yeah, I was like, "How am I supposed to net this fish with this little bitty net?"
Just get the head in it. And you just flop it over.
But no, I've just enjoyed all of my time fishing with everybody. I mean, and I've
Yep.
learned so much. And if that's a big advice.
Well.
If start out as a co-angler, but you do have to know a few things. You've got to
Well.
be able to handle your own fish. You need to
Mm.
be able to tie your own baits on. Stay neat. It's not your boat.
Yep.
Don't bring 5 suitcases of tackle and 20 rods.
Yep.
I have 5 main rods that I use, and on if something's just not working, if I know that I'm not going to be using a Carolina rig or something like that, it'll stay at the house that day.
Yep.
But I take my 5 main ones, and when I go as a co-angler, I have one of the backpacks, and I tried to
Yep.
stay as neat as I can, because when that boater's ready to go, let me tell you, they
yeah.
might say, hey, one more cast. That's their one more cast. That's your cue to, all right, let's
Buckle in and tighten everything down.
get
Yeah.
everything ready, because they know they've got certain times that they want to be at certain places, because they know, through their practice that, hey, if the sun's up and the wind's blowing a little bit, then they need to be on this point about this time. So,
Oh yeah. Definitely. Another thing I've learned as a co too, always wear a wristwatch, because I know, if you notice, like down in Nickajack, the time changes. Eastern, and
yep.
sometimes those graphs will not change, or they'll be
Mm-hmm.
off, and then so you always got that to say, hey, I know this is Eastern time, this is the time, because I've heard
Yep.
guys being an hour off, and then
Yeah,
their
you're
race
right
or
there on that
catch.
line. Because if you're
Yep.
putting in at this ramp, you're Eastern. If you're putting in at this ramp, you're Central. So, and they're not far apart.
Yep.
And so, yeah, it's good to, pay attention to what time it is. And just like I said, going as a co-angler, I learned so much,
Yep.
just so much. And you're not going to learn it all in your first year. You're not going to learn
No.
it all in your second year. You you pick a bait that you want to work on.
Yep.
Pick one. If
Yep.
you want to learn how to pitch it or skip it underneath a dock, get that bucket. Stand on that front porch, and just keep doing it. And learn how to get your own bird nests out, because you're
Yep.
going to do it. Lord, I still do
Oh yeah.
it. I
Oh
do
yeah.
it every time I go fishing. It's not something that I don't think I'll ever get out of, but I know how to get them out a lot faster than I used to. And, that's been the best experience, has been going as a co-angler. And like I
Yep.
said, I enjoy going as a boater. I do. It took me a long time to build that confidence up.
Oh yeah. It
But
does.
like Alyssa Johnson said, you got to let go of the dock. So that's exactly what I finally did. I let go of the dock. But every once in a while, I have to go back as a co, just because of time, vacation and stuff. But
Oh, I understand. Yeah, I'm the same way. And then instead of bird nest, when you get in the big leagues of fishing, it's called professional overrun. So
oh,
that's the
I do
term
a
of the
lot
night.
of maintenance casts.
Yep.
Maintenance casts, just to straighten everything out and reel it back in. So,
And sometimes I had a tournament on Del Hollow. It's been way back, and I pitched and I had the professional overrun. I was trying to get out of my reel, and I had a jig, and I reeled up. Fish was on. Hey, they wanted it dead stick. If you moved it, they wouldn't bite it. But if you sat there and just let it sit for a minute or two, they'd bite it.
I've
And
had
so I
some really good fish, a backlash fish. I
yep.
mean, because you've just been sitting there doing this,
Yep.
doing this, doing this, doing this, and all of a sudden you go and you're like, oh, what? That's a
Wait,
fish.
something don't
Yep.
feel right. Oh.
Yep. I've had
Or
some
your
really
phone
good
rings.
backlash fish now.
Or
I'll
your
take
phone
them any
rings.
day.
Yep. And then your phone rings, and it's like, hey, got a fish.
Uh-huh.
I had a BFL, talking about Watts Bar with something before the show. Watts Bar had a boater, good, great guy. And we had a good time. And I was helping get his fish in. I was netting his fish, and I had I had a shaky head. I had your shaky head on, and I had the yellow braid, and
Mm-hmm.
I fished it out close to the shallow water. And my boater says, "Hey, I think you're hung up. I seen your line move." I was like, "I'll get it here in a minute. Don't worry about it." So I helped him get all his stuff, and I noticed I picked up. I was like, "Wait a minute. My yellow line wasn't at shallow, is in the middle of the cove." I'm like, uh-oh. And like I pencil sharp and got it. And no telling how long that fish had that shaky head. I mean, it could have been 3, 4, 5 minutes. Enough
Wow.
to like swim out in the middle of the cove. So, but
It's a
you
wonder you
never
were
know.
able to get it out and he didn't swallow it all.
No, he didn't. No, he was lucky. He had it he had a hook good, but yeah, he swam around that thing, and that tells you how like they like to shake your head. I mean, I don't know how long he had it. He had to be 3, 4, 5 minutes, and he had it.
Dang.
Sometimes you
Yeah,
get lucky.
I was Roger and I were fishing at Normandy Lake. This has been several years ago. And I was fishing a crankbait, and
Yep.
it wasn't a tournament. It was just, we'd gone out one evening actually, and was coming in right before dark. But all of a sudden there's some some guys went by on some jet skis, and not just
Yep.
regular jet skis, the 1980s jet skis where you stand up and it
Yeah. Yep.
moves up and down. I'm going, I haven't seen those. And of course, I'm dating myself. I had thrown out my bait and my crankbait, and I was just like, that's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. I'd gotten hot. I'd sat down, had my feet in the water, and just thought I'd reel back in. And I'm like, whoa. And I had almost a 6-pounder. It had just come up and
Wow.
grabbed it.
Yep.
And was just, and she, it was crazy. I was like, oh my God, look at this fish. I'll take those dumb luck ones any day.
Hey, you never know. You never know. Like I said, keep your lure wet, and you never know what's gonna happen.
That's right.
But yeah, I've seen some crazy stuff like that. I've had like a crankbait. You know how you get your treble hooked on the line, it kind of spins. I've been reeling it in, spin on top, and then a fish comes and gets it. I'm like, what the heck just happened? So it's some crazy stuff happens. So, but good times. But yeah, it's I said that's some good points about being a co-angler. I always tell like the younger, if I'm speaking to high schoolers, I say 3 to 5 rods, small bag. I got a backpack from Bass Pro. I think I bought 3 or 4 years ago, and I still use. So, but
That's
yeah, try to keep it downsized. Yeah, and then PFD, get you a quality PFD where it's inflatable or just a regular. So
no, I have a regular one.
I do too. Especially when it's cold.
And I've seen too many times where when you're traveling, because when Angela and I traveled, hers, we'd leave it in the car overnight. It'd be poof the next day. This I don't have to worry about. This I know is gonna keep me afloat, if something did happen. So
yeah, especially if it's cold. Mine's got a fleece lining, so it's an extra layer too. So.
It is an extra layer. I don't know how many times
because that temperature drops. And a funny story, inflatable. I was at that BFL regional in I think down in Eufaula, and day one, it was misty rain. It wasn't bad, and I had my inflatable on, bouncing through there, and the guys kind of rougher water, and all of a sudden mine goes pop, and I'm like, and he's like, "You okay?
Oh,
yeah, go ahead, yeah." I'm like, and I'm looking straight at the sky because it keeps your head up. Well, about 5 minutes later, he hits a rogue wave, and the boat gets like that, and I'm like, don't see it, so I can't brace myself, and I'm hanging on, but I slipped or something, and I hit my ribs on the gunnel, and then he grabbed my shirt. No. So I sore the rest of the day, but I kind of lost a little faith on him after that. And another thing I use is I know if it's going to rain or if it's cold, I have a full motorcycle helmet. I used to ride motorcycles, and that's been a lifesaver. When it's cold, rainy, and hail, and I've had hail and sleet hit me, it saves your face.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, little things like that. Like I said, I think you brought up the best point though, having positivity during the day. And like I said, I've drawn the same guys a couple of times, and it's always good because you know what to expect. He knows what you're gonna do, and you know what he's gonna do. So it's just a level of comfort. So that's always a good thing.
Yep. So. But then even when you just got somebody that is new to it, you just got to stay positive for each other. Somebody starts getting down, it gets the other one down, and you just got to stay positive. And I know it's hard to do. Believe me, I know it's hard to do. But I was just like, okay, we've got to do this. We can do this. And so, and it happened.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I got teamed up with a guy in Norris, I think last year, January, and it was cold. And we'd fished together like back in 2007, a long time ago on, I think, Fort Loudon. And that's the first BFL he's been on a long time. So I kind of had to guide him, you do this and you check in, they check your live well. So I had to kind of coach him a little bit. But then it was good. He had a good day. He caught some fish. And then at the end of the day, like I said, the last hour, I caught a 4.6 smallmouth. I got big smallmouth on one fish. So nice. I caught some smalls on a jig, but so, it happens. So I like you. I stayed positive, and I said he fished this little area in this little marina dock area, and I asked him, "Hey, you done with that?" Yeah. So threw out a rig, which I never fished. For some reason I had an A-rig on that day. I said, well, I'll throw an A-rig out, and it just stopped. I'm like, man, I got a dock cable. And I felt a little root. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That was that smallmouth. Yeah, it is like, uh-oh. When in doubt, Set the hook.
Set the hook.
It's free.
Hook sets are free. That's exactly right.
Yep. And another thing being a co is what I like is you get a feel of different boats. Like you said, you're riding Ranger skeeters and whatnot, and you'll say, I like this about this boat, don't like this, but I like this boat because of this. And you get to kind of feel what you like and that you don't like. So,
yeah, I've been in just about every Champion, Ranger, Phoenix, Falcons, Bass Cats. I love a Bass Cat. I don't know what it is. I just like the looks of them.
Yeah.
But I mean, but I love our nitro. We have a nitro, and but I don't know. There's something about a Bass Cat I like the way it looks. So
yeah, it's pretty sleek. They got some pretty neat little design, like the little handle built into the boat itself. So
yeah.
And another thing funny, I thought you said, you like to collect lures. I've gotten into kayaking since last summer, and every time I go out, I come back with more lures than what I start with because I see them up in the trees. I see them in a kayak. You can get right up to them. So that's kind of one plus. I never thought about a kayak.
And it's not just bait that I when I go bank shopping, because Roger's like, she's gone bank shopping again.
I like that term.
We found a brand new pair of rubber boots, brand new, size 12, floating up against the water, not a house around. God knows where these came from. We ended up donating them to Goodwill because, I mean, we didn't have anybody that could wear them. You know, gloves floating, jackets floating, stuff, we can give away, but definitely baits.
Oh, yeah.
Go over because we got the extension rod to be able to get. We'll just get them out of a tree.
Oh, yeah.
So I've come home with several brand new baits where somebody wouldn't go up there and get it, and we'll take that rod and pop it loose. And it's like, okay, wasn't a wasted trip.
or at night, I think a lot of guys go night fishing and they try to heave it and it gets in the limbs and they have no idea where it's at and they just break it off.
Yeah.
So, good point. But I think the most interesting thing I found, my boater found, I think the day before, he found one of those dock bumpers. They're the big football looking black dock bumpers. And his boat was in the BFL region down in Eufaula, and we got way down the lake, and he caught a nice fish, and we was about to take off, and I got to looking. I'm like, hey, does your boat always set this low? He's like, no. Opened up the battery compartment, and the water's up to the batteries. And he had a leak. Turned on the bilge, nothing.
Oh, no.
And then he says, well, I can hotwire it. And so we hotwired it, started working. I'm like, oh, it's good. Go to the next stop. It quit working. Wouldn't even work hot-wired. The only thing we had on that boat was that old boat bumper, and we cut it in two, was bailing out.
Oh, no.
And then every time somebody come by, y'all okay? Yeah, we okay, man. So, but, yeah, that's pretty funny. That was a good day, though. It was kind of a, oh, man, we're going to be bailing out. But it had to be, we had a good time and still had a good day. So, never know. Never know. That is. But what is the biggest fish you ever caught in the tournament? What's your personal best in the tournament?
Caddo Lake 664.
Oh man, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yep, and I missed Big Fish by 0.2. She had 666.
That's an unlucky number, man. She should have thrown that back.
I had 664. Yeah, man, I missed right that much the last time, but that's okay.
Two drops of water probably would have got you.
Water, that's exactly it. It took me too long to get it out of the well. So.
Oh man, you get them next time. You're due. You'll get one. Yeah. So, what's your next tournament's coming up? What's your next couple events you gonna fish?
So, we tried to do a little benefit tournament this past Saturday on Normandy to help the Coffee County boys basketball tournament, which they had a bunch of boats show up for that, but we didn't have any luck at that, so we just donated. We donated money to help the boys out.
Good cause.
Good cause. Then where we've been fishing a little bit of the Middle Tennessee Bass Tournament little club that Middle Tennessee Anglers, I believe. We've been fishing with them some. Of course, we didn't get to fish this past weekend with them, but I think they're going back to Old Hickory again. And if we're in town, we'll be doing that. And then my husband has his Cannon County bass club that he fishes with his brother. And I'm
Cool.
hoping to get with Janelle here pretty soon so we can go fishing together and just to discuss some more about the Tennessee Lady Anglers. And so, but
Wow.
not anything just completely set until,
Right.
if it comes up, it comes up right now. But definitely, the next one will be Kentucky Lake with the LBAA
Oh,
in
good
September.
deal.
But then,
Yeah,
like I
that's
said, I'm really, really, really trying to get that one going for October
definitely, definitely.
to try to one, get more awareness, get some things out there, be able to show people that, hey, look, this is what we can draw, and just try to raise some funds.
Yeah, that's a great time of year to have a tournament down there. They kind of slow
Mhm.
down in hunting season, but I think the fall tournaments, I love fishing fall tournaments. So that's
Mhm.
great. And got a couple quick comments. Jen's trying to throw me a hint here. She said Speedo, Speedo, Speedo. I don't think I can pull that off. I don't think I can pull that off. And then Jen says, when's that Old Hickory event? Love Old Hickory.
I think I'd have to get back with you, Jen. I'm not quite certain. I know it's their next one. They had posted it on their Facebook site.
Okay. That is a pretty lake out there. I fished it a couple times, but good deal. But we're at about 10 minutes till. So if you want to run through some of your sponsors or people's helped you out through and kind of go back through some of the things you're wanting to do with your tournament trail, floor is yours, my friend.
So were you able to get the emails that I sent about the discount codes?
I believe so. I believe so. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
double check. Yep.
So we'll make certain we post those. We have some discount codes for people watching tonight, and I know Denise from Real Girls Fish has one. I appreciate that, and then Paul Ronaldo with Boss Axe had sent one that's good for this week.
Okay.
And we'll make certain that that's posted at the
Yep.
the end. But my husband, he's my rock. He's the one that, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be doing this at all.
Right.
And I love my Woo Tungsten. I've been pro staff with them for a couple of years now. I love me some Woo, and just like I said, looking forward to working with Paul and Trisha with Fish Her and Denise, and just trying to bring this up, make it even bigger, and the responses I've received, and we just want to make this bigger, and we want to be 50% out on the water. Not
Absolutely.
just
That'd be awesome.
38%. We want to be 50% out on the water. So
Absolutely.
I just I enjoy this sport. I just never would have dreamed in a million years that if you'd have asked me 15 years ago or 12 years ago, what would I be doing this? I'd be like, no. But it is definitely a drug. I mean, it's people like, well, I'd get bored. No, you don't.
No.
So I mean, you're just waiting for it.
Yep.
And it's like the anticipation of it. And then it's like, do I have enough weight in this
Yep.
live well to beat that next person? And if I don't this time,
Absolutely.
harder the next time. And it's just it's a community of people. It's I've met just as many great men, through this as I have the women in this sports. They've got their husbands, their boyfriends, their significant others, their, and then some of the guys that I have met over the years for other little tournaments that I've ran, or helped run, they'll be like, Deanna, and I'm like, hey, I'm going, okay, I enjoy meeting people, and the fishing community. There's a lot of people to meet,
Oh yeah.
and don't get me wrong. I like watching G-Man and all of
Yep.
them, and Major League Fishing, and BASS and all that. I just, I just think it's an amazing group of people. And of course,
Absolutely.
we did lose a legend last
Yeah.
week, and Pam will be greatly missed.
Oh yeah.
And she was a rock star.
Yeah, she was. I
And
remember seeing her at Gunnersville. I mean, she was pretty weak then, and I think Secret helped her carry a fish across the stage, which I thought was pretty
yeah,
neat. But
yeah,
yeah, she stayed. I mean, you talk about a lady that was a fighter. I mean, she fought to the right to the end and
yes,
stayed
she
positive.
did. Yep, she did. I mean, and we're standing on her shoulders. I mean,
Yeah,
she's one of the reasons why,
yeah, she was a
we,
trailblazer.
she
Never will
was.
be forgotten. Never will be forgotten. I promise you.
Yeah.
But that's great. But yeah, you're talking about the fishing community. It's like a big community, but it's kind of a small, tight knit community at the same time. It's
Yes,
kind of
it is.
unique. Because I've seen pros help young guys, change out a lower end or something, and I've seen like the LBAA, y'all helping each other at tournaments.
Hmm.
Somebody boat broke down. Seemed like some always comes up with a boat for them to use. So I mean, I've seen guys like, you know, one guy got all his fishing stuff stolen, and everybody chipped in and
Hmm.
gave him stuff to fish with the next day. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, and it happens all the time. It's like that's not unusual. It happens all the
Yeah.
time with them. So
Yeah, it's a different type of community, and
oh,
people
absolutely.
just, granted, we're hoping we've got more weight than the next person, at the end of the day, but we want to make certain everybody's okay, that nobody got hurt, anybody needs help. We don't want somebody being stuck, you
Yeah.
know. So
Oh, absolutely. And I've seen guys, if everybody's running down the lake and there's one boat in the middle, you can tell somebody's always helping or asking, "Hey, you okay? You need?" And I've seen a lot of guys, pull guys back, take out their fishing time to pull one of their competitors back to the dock or the launch area. So,
mhm.
yeah, it's real neat. I mean, I'm like you. I've met a lot of cool people. I fished with Gerald Swindle one time down in Toho. I fished with Clay Dyer on Cherokee. So I've been
Nice.
blessed. Some of the guys, and they're just down to earth, just as they can be. At first you're kind of intimidated, and they make you feel like home. So pretty cool, pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yep. So I've been blessed. I've fished with a lot of great fella. A funny story. I fished a BFL, I think in Bristol last year, and it was a little preacher from Middle Tennessee, and he caught his personal best smallmouth, and he's a pretty good sized guy, and he like bear hugged me full, and I called my wife. I said, "Is it good luck for a preacher to hug you?" I'm just asking. But we remain friends. We still talk about every week. So great guy and great connection. We always talk back and forth about fishing and whatnot. So, but anyway, well, Miss Deanna, I hope you the best on your tournament trail, and anything we can do for you, let us
Yeah,
know.
and
And
like I said, if you can find us on Facebook, you can find me on Facebook, Deanna Lovern, Tennessee Lady Anglers with an S, um, at gmail.com, or Tennessee Lady Anglers.com once we get the complete website up and rolling. And as soon as I learn any more information, thank you, Paul Ronaldo with Ball Sacks, to help us with our big fish sponsor for 2026. It is greatly appreciated, and to everyone else who's lending help and support. Thank you
absolutely,
so
Paul.
much.
I met Paul a few years back at the Knoxville East Tennessee Fishing Show, and he's salt to earth guy, solid guy. So when you reached out and asked me about him, I said, "Hey, that guy's solid as rock."
And
So
that's
you have no
exactly what you
worries.
said. And I appreciate it. Thank
Hey, no
you.
problem. All right. Hey, we're gonna get off here. If you want to hang out just for a couple minutes after we get off, I want to talk to you just for a second there, Deanna. So, but hey, thanks for everybody for tuning in. Thanks for all the comments and questions, and we appreciate you all. And thank Miss Deanna, and best of luck to you on your adventures, starting a new tournament trail. So we'll definitely behind you.
Thank
But
you.
with that, guys, we'll say goodnight, and hope to see you tomorrow night. And hope you get out and wet a line this week. Peace out. There we go.